Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200-plus signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good this Friday morning or afternoon, or maybe even evening. But welcome guys, hope everyone is doing well. If you're interested, check out the Telegram channel for the signals. I will share the community Telegram for Zentrix, where you can find the Telegram for the signals in the pinned messages at the top. So if you head over to that Telegram, join it. It will give you more updates about the project, what's to come, also announcements into the future as well. And if you are interested with the signals, head to the pinned messages at the top of the chat, and at the bottom you'll be able to see the link for the signal service if you are interested. But it's an exciting project, guys. We're looking to work with AI in a whole heap of different ways, and looking at how we can progress, definitely as retail traders, kind of leveling the playing field with some of the bigger players in the market, strategies, indicators, automated systems, and a lot more is on the way as well. So if you're interested, join the Telegram, more updates there. But if you're interested in the signal service, check out the pinned messages at the top of the chat, and you find the information. In the pinned messages. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, we'll go for the USD side of things first. Take a look at the dollar, USD majors, gold and silver. If you do have any requests, put it in the chat. What's up, Zico, S&P? We will take a look. I'll just go for the USD side of things first, and then I'll take a look at the S&P for you, no problem. But yeah, I want to go for the dollar side of things first. Of course, drop any charts, pairs you're looking at. And if there is a specific time frame you want me to take a look at, drop it in the chat as well. Without further ado, let's get into, actually not Euro USD, let's get into the DXY. So, the dollar. We've had a lot of news the past few days. We've still got some news coming up today as well. Let's not forget. This afternoon we do have NFP, so that's going to be interesting. We've already seen a very bullish reaction for the dollar the past few days. Is NFP going to give us another push to the upside and more strength? Could do. Or is it time for us to see a bit of retracement and maybe NFP gives us a bit of downside, which is kind of what I'm hoping for, because I'm very bullish on the dollar and I'm just looking for opportunities to buy it. Essentially, we've got the break of structure of this area. Price is back above confident levels of support and resistance. We cracked underneath this very aggressively, and now we're kind of firmly above that area. We've got our first high low in the market over here, and I'm looking for the retest of the high, which we just broke through, to now continue that journey and look for more upside. So very, very bullish on the DXY, on the dollar, just looking for opportunities to buy it now. I like the opportunity here. I push back into 98.8 roughly, come back and test this area of demand as well. 2 birds, 1 stone, and that would be a great place for a buy. Whether we pull back there or not, again, that's up to the market. I'm hoping kind of NFP maybe is a catalyst for that, to give us a bit of a push down. If NFP gives us another push to the upside, I'll still be looking to buy on a pullback. I'm going to have to rethink in terms of where I'm looking to buy the pullback from, because maybe at that point, these opportunities are not looking likely if NFP gives us another push to the upside. So we'll have to see as that develops this afternoon. But yeah, pullbacks into 99, 98.8 look really good. More upside. There's highs over here I'm looking to target. There's one over there at 100.5. Another one over there at 101.8. Those are some areas to keep in mind, not necessarily target outright, but you know, that could be where we're headed towards. So manage the trade accordingly, trail positions if you're looking to do that. But keeping an eye on those levels. So very, very bullish on the dollar, looking for a pullback and more upside. Euro USD, pretty much the exact same situation, just flipped. So as you can see, we put that lower high in, really aggressive sell-off. Cracked through support there. Also broke through some significant areas of support resistance here as well. So resistance over there, resistance twice, support there briefly. Now I'm looking for price to revisit this as a lower high and continue. So just being patient, really. Of course, you got the low here as well. Yeah, that will be an area of focus. So I'm hoping to see a pullback into roughly the 1.155 area. And then from there, hopefully some more shorts. A brief pause here in the market as well. So that'll be acting as a nice area of supply. And truthfully speaking, the market is quite overextended. It's been a very aggressive drop there for Euro. So I do think price does need to have that pullback at some point. We might still fall a little bit further. I'm not saying the retracement has to happen now. I'm not saying the retracement has to happen now. We could still fall a little bit further. But yeah, I'm expecting to see some upside pretty soon. Market's pretty stretched. We just cleared some big levels. It would be nice to come back and retest them. And that's where we can find our entries to continue this trend. And again, in terms of targets, I think I would just play it safe with Euro. I'm not looking for anything dramatic with the sell. You know, if I can get a push back into the price swing low, so let's say if the market does pull back and you know this is the low, I would probably target that low outright. Maybe I might leave positions to run into some areas around here at 1.13. That's like bonus extended. I will probably take most of the profit at the low. But yeah, Euro, same situation as the DXY, just flipped pretty much, looking for the next lower high in this bearish sequence. So a pullback is necessary. Pound USD, same situation as well. Very, very nice push down. So you see aggressive that move is there, really showing us momentum is completely flipped from the bullish trend we once had to now being bearish. So that's completely flipped. And I'm looking at some selling opportunities. Looks like price is just about to nestle in support, already has done. So yeah, it would be nice to see Pound USD pull back. It would be very nice to see Pound USD pull back. It's looking very, very bearish at the moment, but a pullback would be much appreciated. Just looking for the next lower high. 1, 2. There's your third. That might actually line up with the 0.618 or the 0.5. Yeah, 0.5 on the fib. So it's got some nice healthy confluence there. It's the same thing with Euro, same for the DXY. It's just that if we pull back, if we do this, then it can provide opportunity. I'm not looking to sell pound now. We're too stretched. I do want to see more upside before jumping into the market. But yeah, in terms of directions, pretty clear. I'm going to keep a close eye to see how the weekly candle does close. At the moment, we're looking really aggressively bearish. That could mean a lot more downside next week as well. Momentum is looking pretty bearish. And of course, we've just had some monthly candle closures as well. We can run through a bunch of them. But you can see there, really nice bearish engulfing candle on the monthly chart there for pound. So that's a good indicator that potentially August could be bearish as well. You can see the last time we had a bearish engulfing candle in a similar format, we did get a bearish candle the next 3 months. And we could be seeing something similar. Again, maybe not necessarily 3 months, but more downside is probably likely at this point, especially with that how the candlesticks are forming in the higher time frame. So looking pretty bearish for pound, just waiting for a pullback and hopefully you can take some shorts off the back of that. Dollar CAD, of course, looking very bullish. You got dollar strength coming to the market. We've absolutely smashed through some support and resistance here. So as I was mentioning yesterday, now that price is completely cleared through this level, well, the next opportunity is a pullback into this area for support for a buy. There's a big area here of supply, which I'll keep a close eye on. There's actually a really big level of resistance just above our heads, which we're kind of coming into now, which you can see did act as resistance pretty well not too long ago. So this is a pretty pivotal area where we could turn around. Perhaps we'll speak more about that when we're trading at those areas and reacting. But for now, this is a very nice place for a buy, especially with the fact that we had a big consolidation. Now price has finally chosen to break to the upside for that momentum. Now it's looking for the retest for the continuation. So it's just the pullback of this move for more upside. But of course, we're looking very bullish right now. Will we pull back there? It's a big if. You know, it's the same if across all the USD pairs. They've all seen a lot of momentum. Now it's kind of, will they all pull back? Or will they keep pushing? We'll find out. But very nice opportunities here on a retest of 1.376. Going to keep a close eye on that level. And if we do, I like the buys back into resistance at 1.39. And in terms of Aussie dollar, this one's looking pretty bearish. We did get the break of the ascending channel this week. So it looks like price has just seen the aftermath of that, which is a nice continuation lower. Expecting price to at least come back to the origin. Whenever price does break out of an ascending channel, I'm always looking for price to come back to the origin of it, so where it started. 0.635 is where I got that, so in my book, still a long way to go to the downside. Long term, I'm still kind of looking for buys for Aussie dollar, but I'll stay patient with that. I'll wait for price to start to slow down before I talk more about buying opportunities. For now, I think just focus on the sells. We did touch on this area here yesterday. Nice area of supply, really aggressive push down. Already broken through some structure. Of course, we broke through the trend line, the channel. So yeah, ideally, again, pull back to retest this area for a short, maybe even retest the low of the channel. That would be nice. And then expecting more downside. There's some support here at 0.635, which I think price could drift towards. So Aussie dollar for me, a bearish market. Of course, USD is the driving force here. And I would expect that to continue. Whether we drop still or we pull back, regardless, looking for more downside. As long as price doesn't break back above this area. You know, if we do that, okay, we're back at square one. But if we don't, any upside is likely to be a pullback for some more downside. So keep a close eye on Aussie dollar shorts. New Zealand dollar is probably my least favorite USD pair. Momentum's picked up quite well. But altogether, you know, we're about to approach support right now. We broke out of this very lightly ascending channel. It's nothing crazy, but yeah, we have broken out of that, but we're just about to approach support. So it's not much of a breakout, especially if you compare it to Aussie dollar's price action. So not my favorite pair, I must admit, but based on how things are moving, I do think shorts on the lower time frames make sense. We, excuse me, voice is very croaky. We did speak about this area, which was 0.594 for a retest. Actually came pretty close yesterday. I think that was during the stream, actually. Yeah, well, just before the stream. Came pretty close to that area. But now that we have seen a continuation, I probably wouldn't be looking for a pullback back towards that same area now, especially approaching support. There might be actually a brief bounce here. I'm not too sure if I'll look for that myself. I'm very much in the mentality of looking to short the USD pairs and buy the dollar, so I wouldn't really be looking for a bounce here, but it's a significant level of support, kind of holding us in a big range. If you can see some healthy rejection there at 0.585, I think that is a smart place for a buy. More of a reaction trade rather than a big swing trade. So you're not looking to hold that for, you know, a long time. But if there is some healthy rejections there, market respects it well, I think that's a nice place for a bounce. But that's about it for New Zealand dollar. It's a big ranging market. Perhaps if we do see a solid breakout to the downside, like a heavy breakout like that, then yeah, there could be some opportunities on a pullback and looking to ride that momentum. So I can get behind that, but I'll need something like this first for me to be looking for the pullback, of course. So I'll believe it when I see it sort of situation. At the moment, market's still flat. We're approaching some significant support. There might be a bit of a bounce there, so keep an eye out for that. If we do obliterate that level well, then yeah, there could be some nice pullback opportunities to follow that momentum. But again, we can probably speak about that if it does happen. At the moment, we're still kind of flat in that range. And speaking of a range, we've got one with silver. Not silver, sorry. One with gold. We are approaching support. Not a big fan of the price action here with gold. Market's been incredibly flat. and incredibly sideways. So I haven't really been interested in trading gold. I did say I do like the opportunity for a buy at the low, and I still do, but of course we haven't quite reached that area just yet. So as price kind of just chucks itself around in between resistance and support, I'm not really interested in the price action until we get to one of these two areas. And also I like this level here as well, which is what, 31.40. I also like that level there too. So simply just trying to buy buy as low as possible. Excuse me, my voice is not playing ball right now. Yeah, simply trying to buy as low as possible. When you've got these ranging markets, sideways conditions, the best way to trade it is buy as low as possible, sell high as possible. The worst thing to do is buy and sell within the middle, within the noise. That's where you easily can get chopped around and take unnecessary trades, unnecessary losses as well. So if gold was to roll over a little bit further, come and stab into this area, maybe provide some nice wicks there, I would be interested for a buy. You can see we've wicked into this area a few times now and have delivered some very nice reactions off that. So if we can repeat that again, I'd be happy, and that would be enough for an entry for me. If this area does break, well, we've got some areas down here, which again, another wick there, nice rally to the upside. We could see a bounce from there as well. So keep an eye on both those areas, not trying to trade within the range. That's where all the noise is. But if we can push lower, I think there's an opportunity for us. And in terms of silver, yeah, silver's been pretty bearish. I'm kind of backing away a little bit from silver. I'm still very bullish on it, but I'm more so concentrated on this bigger level on the weekly chart, which is 34.5. I'm more kind of concentrated on this level now because it's a very aggressive retrace. It's not like a slow corrective pullback like we have seen silver do on a few occasions. It's quite aggressive. So it tells me that we're probably A, going to get a deeper correction, or B, we might be coming into a new phase of the market. Maybe a consolidation, maybe a temporary downtrend. You know, all of that and above could be the situation. But we've had a very strong rally followed by a very strong kind of decline here. So that doesn't give me confidence to jump straight into some buys with the expectation that we're just going to continue right back to highs and so on and so forth. So I am looking at a deeper correction now. So I'm kind of hoping that we do start to slow down. We've got this big level here on the daily stroke weekly chart at 34.7. So that's kind of my new area of interest. I was looking for the retest of the range highs here, but we kind of smashed straight through them. We are still trading within this range, but like I said, the way we kind of fell was way too aggressive. We're still showing aggressive signs with the bears right now, so it's nothing that I want to jump into some buys just yet. The pullback isn't healthy. It's not like a smooth pullback. It's not like a smooth pullback for silver. It's a very aggressive one. And typically, like I said, when you get aggressive pullbacks, sometimes you get quite deep pullbacks off the back of them. Or they could be, representing a new phase. Maybe a bit of a counter trend could develop. Maybe a consolidation could develop as well. So I have to stay on the ball. But I do like this level still, especially from a higher time frame perspective. I had this really big breakout, no prior retest, so that's now my new area of interest. So I'm going to be waiting to see if we can get a push into that area. There might be some shorts in the meantime off this low here, or even off that consolidation. I think both make sense. Could see a pullback into this area, another lower high, and then a drop. I could see price doing that from either of those areas, to be honest. So keep an eye on some shorts. They actually do make sense here, but I'm still very much with the bigger move in terms of looking for buys. And as long as we don't break below 34.7, that's very much my expectation. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on silver, keeping a close eye on gold. Of course, with USD strength at the moment, that should, of course, mean more downside for silver, more downside for gold. So being wary of that. And to be honest, I kind of want that to happen, especially with silver, because gold's just a sideways market. But silver I quite like still, especially the buys at that level I just mentioned. So if the DXY is still strong, that should help silver keep falling. And hopefully we can get to my level. I do want it to be a bit more corrective now though, so I don't want it to be aggressively falling, but hopefully it does get to that area. But you can see how bullish the USD is right now. Even if I just go through dollar CHF quickly, then I'll take a look at the S&P. Yeah, dollar CHF looking very strong as well. Again, momentum's looking good. What the thing I quite like about dollar CHF is that we did break above this area, which was quite significant. You've got support once, twice, broke through resistance as well. Now we've just gone and cleared that, and we've done it with quite a lot of momentum. It's not like price only just cleared the level and was very corrective on the way up. Yeah, if something's like that, sometimes it's not the best move to follow. But if you can get a very convincing break to the upside, well, that changes everything. It shows that momentum is strong, the buys really mean business, and especially with the fact of us climbing the level as well at the same time. This to me looks like somewhat of a bottom potentially, and we might see something like this form over the next few days. So yeah, pretty bullish on the dollar Swiss. Pullbacks is kind of what I'm after now. I'll keep an eye on this area, which of course is the prior high. It also lines up pretty well with this area of demand as well. Brief consolidation, nice breakout to the upside. So that would be an area which I would consider looking to get involved with as well. But going forward, we need a pullback. And that is literally the same thing that I repeated for all USD pairs. We need a pullback. And for dollar CHF, 0.80506 would be the ideal place for a buy. And yeah, targets, not trying to overcomplicate things, but I'd say push into resistance there makes sense. You probably will just go and hit that, to be honest, but ideally, if we could pull back before that, that would be great. I can probably even fine tune that to that level there on the 4-hour chart. So yeah, ideally, if we could pull back before that, that would be great. Buys from there, take the next higher low. There's one, there's two, and there's your third for the big swing. So yeah, dollar, very, very strong, looking at a lot more upside. If I have a quick look at the S&P. So the S&P 500, excuse me. How is NAS looking? Just as bare. Is it time for the indices to retrace? Oh, okay. That's changed everything. To be fair, I haven't really been keeping up to date with the indices, so I wasn't really paying attention to them. Last time I had a look at them was yesterday afternoon, and at the time I was looking at it, I mean for the DAX anyway, the DAX I believe was trading around here. And I said, okay, it looks like price is just failing to create highs. So if you do crack support, then that's when I'll say, okay, we're bearish. And the plan would be looking for pullbacks and more downside, probably to the lows here. We can go in a bit more details to the DAX later, but let me go through S&P. So yeah, S&P looking pretty bearish. Again, the retracement was kind of necessary. The market was going to chug away like this forever. It's still very bullish, don't get me wrong, and we're still expecting more upside. But, with due retracement, at least something like this, at the very least, which is kind of what we're getting right now. We could go through a much bigger one, something like we were getting over here. That could be the reality. So, especially with a market like the S&P, you're kind of just gauging how deep of a correction it could be and finding areas where buys make sense. And to me, there's three standout areas where the pullback makes sense to get into some longs. First one is this area we're coming into now. Lovely consolidation. Did give us that rally. We're testing that area now. This is definitely an area to keep an eye on. The second area would be the retest of the high. Very, very strong resistance. Naturally, we turn support. Gave us a very big move down. That could be an area which we do bounce and see some more upside. And thirdly, this consolidation here as well, which again gave us a very nice rally to the upside. We haven't yet come back to retest that zone either. So to me, that looks like a very A very smart place for a buy as well, similar to the level here. I would argue this is a stronger area, but again, it just depends how deep of a pullback the S&P does go through. I mean, if I was to measure from the high, we have dropped 2.5% almost. If we're to drop about 5-6%, that'll take us to there. I could see a 6% correction because we haven't actually seen much of a correction since the leg here. You know, don't forget that this bullish leg started all the way down here after that big crash. We haven't really seen a pullback of stature since that's happened. You know, this is kind of the deepest pullback we've had, or maybe this one here, which was straight away. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised for 6%, but I'd probably be more interested in these two. Yeah, I'm not too sure price will get there. It could do, but I'd pay a bit more attention to these guys, and of course they come first anyway. So at the moment we're quite aggressive, but what I've noticed about some of the indices is that they can have really aggressive pullbacks and then suddenly just flip bullish very aggressively. With FX, they kind of have slower pullbacks and they take their time to turn around. If you have aggressive pullbacks in FX, most of the time it's actually a reversal, so you probably want to stay away from them. So if this was like an FX pair, I'd be quite cautious, but because S&P, kind of what the market tends to do. So I'll be keeping a close eye at this area, 6,300 I'll say, or 6,280. Let's see if we can get some wicks, some rejection, preferably like the 4-hour chart. That can end up being a very nice place for a buy. And then of course a push back to the high. If not, you got the retest of the high here, looking for the exact same thing. And thirdly, you got the area there, again, looking for the exact same thing as well. But we are at the first area now, so I'll keep an eye to see how that develops. So S&P very bullish, and I say that ironically because we're selling off. There could be some nice shorts in the meantime as well. It depends what you're after. If you're looking for buying opportunities, we're coming to some nice buying opportunities. If you're looking to sell the market, which I don't know, if you're on the lower time frame, you might be looking to do that. I still think this is a nice place for a short. You know, we had a very aggressive rally, just about swept the highs there, and then suddenly on a dime, we kind of just sell off aggressively. I would suggest a pullback and more downside there makes sense. So if you are kind of short bias, I do agree. I think the shorts do look good, but you're here for a good time, not a long time, because the bigger picture, S&P is still very much a bullish market, and we just very much see this bearish move as a correction. So keep that in mind. But momentum looks good, broke structure, clear level to trade with if we can pull back into. So shorts look good. But yeah, I wouldn't be trying to push that trade too far. So depending if you're intraday, you got opportunities higher up. If you're a little bit more swing, looking to position yourself well, you got 3 areas to keep in mind there. If I take a quick look at the NAS 100 as well, I think NAS were in a similar situation there too. Yeah, similar situation, not probably as clear cut as the S&P, but that is a nice area there for a buy, which is what, 22,800. I think that's a smart place for a buy as well. We've also got the retest of the prior high to our left, which is this area, 22,200. And you've got this area here too, which of course pretty much exactly the same as we just spoke about on the S&P. All pretty much the same areas. Yeah, I mean, of course, they're very similar markets. You know, they're going to do the same thing pretty much all the time. But in general, it's quite interesting to see how the levels kind of look exactly identical with each other and they're kind of in the same kind of proportions as well. But anyway, S&P, I can imagine, again, intraday, some nice shorting opportunities. I quite like the price action. We had a very, very impulsive push on Wednesday, swept the highs, and then again on a dime, turn around pretty aggressively. So I quite like what I'm seeing with the shorts. You got an area of supply here, or you got broken support and resistance just above it. Either one of these areas, I quite like the shorts there, especially if you can drop to like a 50-minute chart. I think that'll be a smart play for a sell, and where we can see a lot more downside from as well. And then if you're looking for the long-term buy, you've got your opportunities there in line with you. And US 30, we selling off as well. Yeah, that's quite interesting because, of course, US 30 came back into a really big level of resistance. So yeah, it looks like price just basically smashed its head into that level and couldn't break through. I don't mind this, to be honest. I'm still very bullish for US 30, but I quite like what I'm seeing over here. A very, very big consolidation, a really aggressive break to the upside. I think that would be a smart place for a pullback, which is, what, 43K? And from there, I think that would be a good place to position yourself long for a big swing trade. Because the expectation is still new highs. And again, US 30 only just eclipsed the highs, just for a little wick on a gapped candle. So just did that. I think USA is still likely to rip through the highs at some point. Yeah, I'm still deeming this to be the big pullback to get us going again. It's just price is fading at highs. So yeah, if US 30 would be kind enough to pull back into 43K, I think that's a very smart place there for a buy. And yeah, beyond that, expecting at least a push back to highs, but new highs preferably. In the meantime, though, again, shorts do look good. We're just about pinching the lows here. Yeah, we've just got to pinch the lows there. So again, I think shorts look good, especially because the momentum in the market is pretty decisive. It's not, again, a slow move at all. It's a very, very aggressive one. So I quite like what I'm seeing. Pullbacks into this area, or even pullbacks into this area here, make the most sense. I probably would prefer the deeper pullback. I'm always looking for the deeper pullback, but that would make a lot of sense there too. Pull back into that area and then some more shorts. So indices, lower time frames looking for sells. Indices, higher time frames looking for buys. You've got to pick your poison, or you pick both, to be honest, if you're very exclusive to trade them. And of course, we'll take a look at the DAX whilst on the topic. The DAX has been hinting at sells for the past week, to be honest. So you can see the DAX, if I draw out resistance here, it's been trying to break through this area, bashing its head multiple times into that same level. And now finally, it looks like we've got the flush to the downside. Price is breaking through support here. And if that's the case, I'm looking for us to push back into this low, which is what, 23K. So with the DAX looking as bearish as this, breaking through all the failed attempts to create new highs over here, that's a big sign to tell you that, okay, steam, the momentum's running out, steam's running out, and we're likely to roll over to go find some more buyers to try and continue again. Now that support is broken, you've got yourself a clear level to short from, to look for a retest. And something like that would look good, and then some more downside back into support. And it's quite interesting because, of course, all these indices, you've got different markets, but they're all kind of very correlated, very correlated. So they're all doing the same thing at the same time. They rally at the same time. They fall at the same time. They all have their nuances and their kind of uniqueness in terms of which markets and which companies affect them, of course. But as a whole, they are very related as well. So once the general consensus is bearish and momentum's picking up, they're all kind of falling at the same time. And same thing with the buys as well. But yeah, DAX to me looks really good for some shorts, and I do think we can see some more downside. And the funny thing is, again, with NFP coming up this afternoon, you got to stay on your toes as well, because we're looking pretty bearish now. Things can turn around pretty aggressively with a news event like NFP. So do stay on your toes for that. I mean, for the dollar, I know I'm only looking for buys. Even if NFP is bullish, I'm still looking for buys, but I just need a bigger pullback. If NFP is bearish, well, that helps me out, because then that gives me a pullback to actually be looking for a buy, and I can take some opportunities off the back of that. So hopefully you can see some opportunities present themselves, especially in the USD pairs, because I quite like what I'm seeing. I'm going to take a quick look at some of the monthly candlesticks, because I didn't actually do that yesterday. So I want to see how some of these monthly candlesticks have closed. Let me remove my drawing so I don't get in the way. So for Euro USD, it's a big bearish candle, but doesn't really mean too much, because we didn't necessarily engulf the candle. We haven't shown a huge amount of rejection. We've kind of covered about 80% of that, 90% of that candle. So not too much to take away. And again, There will be candlesticks where there's a lot to take away from the candlestick in terms of, okay, we've seen a really healthy rejection. We've got a very kind of 8 out of 10 chance of seeing something happen the following month, which we can expect. Other candlesticks will give you kind of no information and no kind of real indication of what's to come next. I would say here for Euro, all I can see is rejection, but I wouldn't be overly excited into the next monthly candle in terms of what we could get next. In terms of Pound USD, like we said, we saw a nice bearish engulfing there. So Pound USD, I can take some information away from that. Momentum is starting to slow down, big shift in momentum, confident bearish candle as well, with minimal wick to the downside. That tells me that next month, which is this month, August, there's a good chance of being bearish. And again, another takeaway is you don't necessarily know how bearish either. It could be a situation like this where we did look pretty bearish at one point, but we did pull back and close to give you a relatively small body of that candle. We could very much do the same thing again. So we don't necessarily have to close bearish, but we probably will get some type of drop this month. So be prepared for that, which is why if I do see pullbacks for pound, I'm looking to short it because I think August will give us a nice down move. Dollar CAD on the monthly charts, nice bullish engulfing candle. See, dollar CAD, nice bullish engulfing candle, but I wouldn't get too excited because we do have resistance right here. Let me just darken my crosshair, or brighten my crosshair, I should say. Let's go white, and let's go. So you can see with my crosshair that this kind of level represents resistance, and price right now is pushing into that area. So despite the fact that we've got a lovely bullish engulfing candle, price is coming back into resistance where we could respect and come right back down. I don't think we will, because I think dollar is going to outpower that, but it's just something to keep in mind, especially as a very technical trader. You don't want to be trading directly into pivotal areas, and that is a very pivotal, significant level of resistance in front of us. So dollar CAD is not my favorite USD pair because of this exact reason. If price was breaking above this, great, there's opportunities there, or rejecting it even. But yes, nice bullish engulfing candle. We probably will get a push to the upside for August, but I do worry with resistance above us. So yeah, not looking for like a sustained move in dollar CAD. Aussie dollar. See, Aussie dollar, again, I'm not the biggest fan of this one. I mean, it did just about engulf the previous candle, but nothing considerable, nothing significant. Again, my motto of trading is always about quality over quantity. So you don't want to be trying to take every single opportunity. You just want to focus on the better ones. And I would say Pound USD, there's a much stronger bearish engulfing candle. Aussie dollar here only just about engulfs it. So yes, I would expect more downside, but nothing I'll get too excited with. I think the price action for Aussie dollar is quite choppy anyway. We're kind of trading in the middle of a big range here. So personally, I wouldn't read much into the price action anyway. New Zealand dollar, a little bit better than Aussie dollar, but again, similar situation with dollar CAD. We're running into some support to our left, not as significant, but still an area which I would be a bit careful of. But it's a nice close, minimal wick to the downside, a lot of momentum. I do think again August will get a bit of a stab lower. So again, if you were to kind of rally the first half of August, that would be great, because then you can look to try and short the high of that kind of midway through August towards the end and try and catch the move for the month. So, and of course you can use the same concept with the week, for the day. Probably wouldn't use it so much for the hourly candles and the 4-hour candles, because it's a bit more intraday, a bit more speculative, more noise in there. But like using the strategy with the day, week and monthly candles does work pretty well, especially when you're patient and wait for the better opportunities. So we've got support there, so I'd watch out for, but nice monthly close. Do expect to see at least a stab to the downside there for August. Dollar CHF, I believe a bullish engulfing candle. No bullish engulfing candle. So somewhat of a bullish candle there, but again, not a lot, to be honest with that. We're clutching straws here. So yeah, dollar CHF, not the best opportunity. We are kind of reacting with support to our left here, but nothing of crazy significance. I do still expect upside anyway, because of USD. I still think we're going to rally and see some more upside. But yeah, it doesn't look as good as the other USD pairs, so I wouldn't get too excited, to be honest. In terms of dollar yen, and we can take a look at the DXY as well. So dollar yen as well, very strong candle, I must admit. But again, I wouldn't get too excited. I wouldn't get too excited because of the position of where we are. You know, we did reject support well, nice. Now we're closing very bullish. So again, I think we probably will see a bit of upside for August as well. But we do have these highs here, 1, 2, you know, potentially this is an area where a third could fall. So although, yes, a lot of momentum's here, but I wouldn't necessarily bank on this happening, especially when you got resistance here. If you look at the crosshair, lines up really well with this high over there, and again, potentially around here, you expect that resistance to come back in. So we've got the lower highs forming, we've got resistance there. Again, dollar yen's a bit of a shaky one. Yes, I do think August will give us a little bit of a pop, but I'm not too sure if we'll necessarily close bullish or see a crazy move here. So I'm a bit more skeptical on dollar yen. And in terms of the DXY, nice bullish engulfing candle, but you can see DXY's problem straight away. We're coming back into a lot of resistance just above us here. So you got a lot of these wicks collecting, and again, you can see that represented with the crosshair, and our price is probably going to get us pushed there. So a really nice bullish engulfing candle. You can see momentum's completely flipped there. We were looking pretty bearish in June, but July completely engulfed that. So momentum has shifted, and again, August will probably give us a bit of a spike higher. But yeah, we're coming directly into resistance, so you got to be careful of that. And we might not see such a crazy move. So for the USD pairs, I think a big takeaway is August looks likely to see more strength in the dollar. I'm not sure if it will sustain the whole of the month, or we will see maybe like the first half of the month is bearish, and then we see the strength come in later. So you know, all those combinations can come into play. But I do think we'll get a bit of a reaction, some more dollar strength come in next month. So that's really the direction I want to tackle. But I'm not prepared to hold for big swing trades because I don't really have the green light there for the DXY, especially with the resistance ahead of us. So being quite careful of that. If I have a quick look at the yen, which is another one I want to keep a close eye on. So the yen closed pretty bearish, but only back into support. So yeah, not a lot to take away from this one, apart from we're at support really. So you can see with all these wicks here, and of course we're just closed directly into that. If price does break through this, it does open up the door for the yen to drop into the low here. And if the yen does drop into the low here, you're looking at a pretty bearish yen for about 3 or 4 months, pretty much to the end of the year, really. And that will send pound yen, euro yen, CAD yen, Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, Swiss yen even, and probably dollar yen too, all to the upside back to their respective highs that they reached last year and probably beyond that. So, yeah, the yen's at a pivotal area. If we can respect this, there could be some upside temporarily. I'm not too sure about a big reversal. But if we crack support here to see like another drop there in August, we could be looking at a really bearish yen. But the biggest takeaway now is that we're just at support. There's nothing more than that. We might bounce, we might break through. There's nothing drastic here to take away apart from we're just at support here. And if I go through some of the other yen pairs, I don't think there'll be much here to take away. We can look at some of the weekly candles as well, because of course it's Friday too, but take into account that we got NFP, so it can change a lot between now and the end of the day. The reason why the monthly candles are good to look at is because of course it's the 1st of August, so we just got the fresh candle closure. But yeah, pound yen not really giving much here either. You can see the last candle is quite small, lacked momentum. closing into resistance to our left. We've got all these wicks here, so not a lot to decipher. We could see price actually roll over a little bit here. That could happen, so we could see a bit of a stab lower, but nothing I'd bank on really. Euro yen's case, Euro yen has pushed into resistance from a monthly perspective. So again, Euro yen could see some downside from here, to be honest. Bit of a wick there in July too. Wouldn't be too surprised if we do see a stab lower. Again, I wouldn't necessarily bank on anything crazy here, but we are approaching resistance and starting to struggle. CAD yen. CAD yen, nice close. We've got a lot of resistance in this area. Probably a bit more upside is due there for CAD yen back into 109, 110. Nice momentum there, but hasn't really done anything for us there, so not a lot to take away. I think resistance up here is likely to be tested, but that's about it I can see from CAD yen. In terms of, so we did pound, euro, CAD, Aussie yen. Yeah, not much for Aussie yen as well. Somewhat medium-sized bullish candle, not really approaching resistance. Momentum isn't really picked up. And again, when I'm looking at the candlesticks on the higher time frames, there's pretty much two things I'm looking into. I'm even looking for momentum, or I'm looking for rejection, because if I'm seeing rejection, I know that the next month's candle could be the rejection, so we could see a continuation of that rejection. Or if I'm looking for momentum, so let's say we get a strong close, strong bearish candle close, then I know that the next month we could likely see more bearish momentum and vice versa. So that's really what I'm trying to indicate what the next month's candle could look like. You could do that in a weekly time frame, monthly time frame, daily time frame. I probably, like I said, I wouldn't drop intraday to do that. You can, but I would stick to the purity of the higher time frames. So, and the best way to look in terms of momentum is just see how big the candle's closing and the wick at the top and the bottom end. You know, is there much of a wick? Is there less of a wick? You can see with this candle here, really nice bearish candle close, nice wicks to the upside. We didn't see momentum continue straight away, but eventually did pick up. It took us a few months to get going, but you can see the following month did give us a stab to the downside. That's tradable potentially. You can see the month after did eventually close bearish, and the month after that is finally when we got the flush to the downside. So not a lot to take away there from Aussie yen on the monthly time frame. New Zealand yen, yeah, not a lot to take away with this one either. Yeah, momentum's not picking up, not necessarily rejecting much. Yeah, I wouldn't really be looking for anything special here. I'll let the market do its thing. And for Swiss yen, I'm just expecting a lot of bullish momentum. And that's exactly what we had there. So looking very, very bullish there for Swiss. I feel like we are definitely due a bit of a correction pretty soon, but it's going to take its time. And I don't want to try and force that either. For some reason, I'm having issues with my comment section. Yeah, for some reason I can't see the messages, but I can see the messages when I look at a different browser. So I'll go through some of them now because I've definitely missed a bunch of them. What's up, Poppy? If you're still here, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Ogpak, what's up? Hope you're doing good. Hola, good morning. What's up? What's up? Hope you're well. BTC, we can take a look at, no problem. I haven't actually looked at Bitcoin in a couple of days. Yes, Aussie CAD we can take a look at as well. Poppy, no, not in any positions at the moment. Kind of getting back up to speed after being away from last week. Hoping USD can do something for me, I'm not going to lie, in terms of some pullbacks. Antonio, what's up? Hope you're doing good. Good morning, good morning. Holding too long on dollar CHF at 0.8250. Okay, nice. Planning on holding these two entries 3+ months. Wow, okay, nice. For 500 pips. That's pretty big. So you're banking a lot of strength then for USD. Banking a lot of strength. I am. I'm not too sure about the long term. I think a good couple weeks at least we'll probably see in terms of strength. But yeah, how come you're looking for those long-term positions? Is it a fundamental analysis which is guiding you for that long-term move, or something you're seeing on the higher time frames? Hey, appreciate it, Poppy. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. I do really appreciate it. Again, it does help promote the content. It helps promote the content, helps the channel grow as well. And if you are enjoying the content, like, subscribe, get involved, and of course hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. What's up, Yusuf, my man? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing good. Better late than never. Better late than never, I always say. Big up Shrek there. What's up? Is that Assassin? Yes, a variation of Assassin. What's up? Good morning, good morning. Hope you're well. Okay, I'll go through BTC. We'll take a look at Aussie CAD as well. We'll go through some other pairs as well. I want to see kind of how some other of the crosses are looking, because I'm still very interested in New Zealand CAD. I think New Zealand CAD could be warming up for a big move there. Anyway, let's go through BTC and Aussie CAD. So Bitcoin. Let's drop to the daily. Okay, so Bitcoin had a bit of a bearish close yesterday. And going forward with Bitcoin, of course, it's still very much a bullish market, but now that we are breaking to the downside here of the consolidation, this could end up being a reversal. I say reversal, but it could give us a bit of a bearish trend. I'm not talking about complete reversal. But yeah, we've been 50-50. Price has been back and forth, respecting support, respecting resistance. Now, finally, we do get the break to the downside here. And it's not the biggest breakout you'll ever see. We're still kind of closing in the area of wicks, but the big change is that we have got a closure below this support level, which we haven't managed to do so since we started the range. So if that's the case, I'm looking for us to push back into this area next, which is around 111,790. That's why we're expecting price to head towards next. And in terms of opportunities, this is where it gets a little bit dodgy, especially when you drop to the low time frames, because we're kind of just wicking around everywhere. But this is kind of the support level I would look at and be interested in for a retest. So you want price to pull up, start to respect it well, and then push back down. And especially if you're intraday, so like hourly chart, that's kind of what I'd be interested in. You can see prices just about kind of playing with the wicks there to the left. So this is definitely not an area which I'll be looking to sell really. But if we can pull back into that area, respect it well, at least the push back down into the same area would make sense, especially if you're going to drop to the 15 to trade it. There's opportunity there. And then, of course, you can possibly looking for the bigger move to the downside there as well. But we've got the close there on the daily chart. So to me, that makes things pretty bearish right now. And I'm expecting more downside. As long as we don't close back within the range, if price was to do that, close back within the range, and of course, scrap that. That's a big fake out. We'll be looking for price to fly back to the upper end. But as a result of that close, I'm pretty bearish until we close back above. So looking for a lot more downside. We've got support there. We can come back and retest. This is the next big level there for BTC. So 112 is the next expectation. Over to Aussie CAD, a very choppy pair. Haven't really been focusing too much on Aussie CAD. I like New Zealand CAD. I can get into why in a moment. Actually, I'll take a look at after this. But yeah, Aussie CAD consolidation really. Again, I don't want to get too into the nitty gritty of the price action. Again, you want to be focusing on opportunities that are clear cut, not where you kind of have to tilt your head and squint a little bit. If you're doing that, then it's probably not clear and obvious, or not necessarily obvious is the right word, but not high probability or high quality, because you don't want to be squinting to try and find a high quality setup. Then it's probably not high quality. So Aussie CAD, in terms of the conditions, it's very back and forth. I would just look at this as pretty much a consolidation, really. My expectations for Aussie CAD's longer term, it probably would be a breakout lower. We've had this humongous impulse to the downside, and price is doing a pretty good job at respecting this supply zone. So we might see a bit of a bearish reaction off the back of that. I wouldn't be banking on the drop though, to be honest. I mean, as I drop to the 4-hour chart, I mean, there's a lot of support in this area. Personally, I wouldn't mind a test of resistance here, because we're back at a strong area of resistance. We can sweep the highs here. So anyone who is selling here with stop losses just above the high, we can sweep the highs there, test the major high, maybe we can sweep them too, and that could be a nice place for a short. And based on how price is moving, I would bet of a reaction at that level. Yeah, so clutching straws a little bit with Aussie CAD. I like the buys here just because we're down low, we're a safe place for a stop loss as well. Market conditions are back and forth, so I think there's a good chance of a reaction off that area. Likewise with the resistance there, but that's about it. Kind of just looking to buy low, sell high. I wouldn't be looking to try and follow momentum in this condition. I wouldn't be looking for any type of pullbacks in this condition. It's just not optimal for any of that. It's a very rangy market. Buy low, sell high is the best way to go about it. And keep a close eye with the management side of things. So yeah, Aussie CAD, not my favorite pair, but I think there's opportunities if you're looking to buy low and sell high. Okay, so I'll go through New Zealand CAD next. What's up, Philip? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. What do I think of a short term? Not short term. Short from 116,400 BTC. Okay, I can have a quick look at that. Funny thing is that I overslept thinking today was Saturday. Oh, okay. Okay, I completely misread that. I thought you said you overslept. Don't worry about that. That was me bugging out. Overslept. I think it was Saturday. That's quite funny. I'm not gonna lie. Hope you didn't have school or work or something, because I'm not sure they would appreciate that in the same way I do. But yep, it's Friday. Still got one more day there. Don't worry. It's Saturday tomorrow. What about gold? Okay, script, we could take a look at gold as well, no problem. If there's specific time frames, let me know, because I know some of you are quite intraday, like 50-minute chart. Of course, I'm kind of more 4-hour based, but I can drop to the lower time frames if you guys want me to take a look at the lower time frames. Thoughts on GJ, UJ? Okay, on the 15. Okay, we can take a look. Which level would you be interested in buying from? Supply level, support level? Cool. Okay, we can go through those as well. Yes, script. I'll take a look at New Zealand CAD and BTC quickly, then I'll go through gold, and we'll take a look at some of the yen pairs as well. And of course, any other requests, drop it in the chat. We can take a look. I also want to go through some weekly candles just to see how they're looking before the end of the week, with a bit of an asterisk there, knowing that we do have NFP later, so things can change, but get a good kind of gauge on what we're seeing. And then of course I'll check again on the weekend. But yeah, New Zealand CAD is a pair on the watch list. I'm looking for a lot more downside for this guy. I like what I'm seeing. Looks like we're about to get a strong close on the weekly chart, but of course the weekly candle's not over. We still got about 11 hours left before it does close, but it looks like support is clearing here, which is the important thing. So yeah, I'm pretty bearish on this one. I am not looking to short the market just yet because the way I see it, this is the low of the range. This is kind of the high of the range. And New Zealand CAD has just basically been fluctuating back and forth between these two levels. So it looks like price is trying to break to the downside here. It's not like a clear-cut breakout just yet, but I'm kind of hoping we do. And then, yeah, I'll be looking for some pullbacks and some more downside. Maybe a retest of the low here. Maybe a retest of this level. Really depends on the breakout and how we pull back. And of course, as we progress, I'll let you guys know what I'm interested in. But I am looking for a pretty big sell-off, a push all the way back down to 0.79 is very much my expectation in the near future. So if New Zealand CAD's going to drop, there's probably a good chance Aussie CAD's going to drop as well, but I'll focus on New Zealand CAD. No need to trade them both at all. So yeah, waiting for a clear-cut break before looking to short, but I do expect to see more downside, and this pair is going to be on the watch list going into next week. BTC, Philip, you said you're looking to short from 116,400. Whereabouts is that? 116,400. Okay, that's about there, and that's kind of where I said as well. So nice going. Yeah, I agree. If I flick to the daily chart, yeah, that's where we've got all these wicks kind of collecting here on the daily. So that's where price is, finding support, trying to break through, but we're not really seeing price do that successfully. So that's clearly a strong area of support for us. And now that we've got the daily candle closed there yesterday breaking through, that's of course going to be turned into resistance. So support, resistance, a great place to short from. So 116,400, I agree. I'm interested what time frame you're looking to actually take the short from. But yeah, in terms of the area itself, it makes sense. I would suggest the price was to break above that. We'd probably be bullish again on BTC, looking for a push higher. So 116, 400, 500, it's pretty pivotal in terms of resistance for us to continue selling off. So I do agree with that. In terms of gold, so yeah, gold's been very, very flat as of late. I actually got a feeling that gold could break lower based on the price action we've got here, but I'm not gonna read too much into that. I'm just gonna treat it as a range. That's exactly what gold is doing at the moment. We've got really nice support below us around 32.60, 32.50. I'm looking to see if we can get a push back into that area for a bounce. We've had some nice momentum over the past few days, but again, I wouldn't get too excited because now that we're heading into support, I'm expecting that to turn around. So gold, my directional bias is still very much to the upside because, of course, the uptrend we've had over the past few months. But we are definitely in a new phase. We're definitely in a consolidation right now. So the idea is kind of just like, can I buy as low as possible within this range with the expectation that maybe I can capitalize on the breakout or at least a swing back to the high end of the range. So these two levels here and here, they provide me that opportunity, buying low, buying off smart areas, having stop losses in safe place, and possibly capitalizing on a swing back to where we came from. So that's really the plan there with gold. Nothing more complicated than that. I'm not trying to find momentum or follow it because we are very flat. I'm trying to actually go against momentum in this scenario. But yeah, those are my two areas of interest, and see if I can pick some longs off the low. Okay, on the 4-hour time frame, no problem. Yeah, I would probably look at the 4-hour as well. Okay, so I'll go through GJ and UJ for Yusuf on the 15. Oh yeah, school's currently on vacation. Oh yeah, I completely forgot. and I find it very common to lose track of time when I'm not attending. Yeah, school's like your calendar. When that goes out the window, you know, the weekdays blend into the weekends. Anyway, let's go through GJ and UJ. Is it UJ? Yeah, UJ. So, yen pairs, interesting stuff. Looking a little bit bearish at the moment. Really strong reaction to the downsides. We had some nice momentum, but crash into some resistance, and we're back at square one again. So the way I'm looking at GJ right now is that we've kind of got this flag pattern or descending channel. It depends how you want to see it. We've of course got major resistance just above us, which price is really failing to break through, and it could give us a bit of a move to the downside. I've been talking about the break of this high here and then looking for pullbacks afterwards. I think that's still the best opportunity really for me. I'm also keeping an eye on the pullback to this area with these wicks on the weekly chart. Yeah, if we were to drop down, I wouldn't mind picking up some buys off that, to be honest. That's if, of course, we don't break out and we pull back lower. So I'll keep an eye on that. That's a possibility. But of course, at the moment, we're kind of still in this flag pattern. So if I was to drop to the lower time frames, 15-minute chart, what would I be looking to do? Probably nothing really, if I was to be totally honest. Because the way I see it, we're kind of just trading within this channel here. These are our highs. And of course, these are the lows. So again, as I always preach, if I'm going to trade within the channel, I want to be shorting at the highs here or buying at the lows here. And of course, right now, we're neither at the high or neither at the low. I mean, we're not too far away from the low, but we're not quite there yet. So in terms of right now, I wouldn't do anything. Would I be trying to find some buys off the low here? You see, the fact that we had this rally, really aggressive move, and we still didn't get the breakout does lower my confidence in the buy. Because the fact that we just smashed our head into that and we came back down kind of tells me that maybe the buys don't have much to give anymore and we are going to bleed lower. So the buys off here, I probably won't get too excited about, really. Probably even draw it a little bit better. Yeah, I probably won't get too excited about, to be honest. I think, yes, there might be a bit of a bounce there. Back at support again, might see some more wicks, back at the trend line. I think, yeah, you might get a bounce, but I wouldn't bank on this happening. I wouldn't bank on that happening. I would probably look at something like halfway. Yeah, and I could see us breaking lower. So in terms of like a short-term opportunity, I can see like a nice buy if that's what you're looking for, especially if you're looking at the 15-minute chart. You can probably get away with a trade there for like half a day and still walk away for like a nice 1 to 2, maybe a 1 to 3 if you're really lucky and get a nice entry. So I think there's still an opportunity there to be had for pound yen, a nice bounce off the level. I wouldn't be looking for a crazy swing or a continuation, especially because of what we just seen. So yeah, more of a short-term play, just looking to try and catch a nice bounce off a healthy level of support, which is 197. For GJ, so that's the best I can see there for pound yen. Dollar yen, we've had a bit more of a trend recently. Momentum's picked up. We've seen a nice kind of rocket to the upside there, breaking through highs here, and approaching major resistance to our left. Not quite yet, but looking pretty bullish. So dollar yen, I quite like. There's momentum there. There's higher highs and higher lows. So I like what I'm seeing there with dollar yen. I think there's a lot of opportunity here. And you've got a lot of resistance here as well, which of course we turn into support. You've got this area, which is a nice area of demand as well. Momentum looks good. Yeah, I would suggest if we can get a nice corrective pullback into this area, I think that's a smart place for a buy and a smart place to see a push into 151. I'm still expecting a bit more upside for dollar yen anyway. Of course, it's another dollar pair as well. I'm expecting more upside for the DXY itself. So the DXY has still got some strength to give. That should push up dollar yen with it as well. So yeah, dollar yen looks like a much better pair. There's a clear trend here. Momentum looks good. We just saw a nice bullish impulsive leg here. So if you can see a nice corrective pullback, I think buys look very good there. You got resistance there to target as well. This high over here. You got some things to work with, 151. And it's kind of like we've broken out this consolidation as well. So you could probably expect even more momentum off the back of that. So yeah, dollar yen's ticking a lot of boxes, I must add. It hasn't done that over the past few weeks. It's been very flat, but now with the breakout, now with the momentum, especially intraday opportunities make a lot of sense to me. GJ, again, I think you can catch a short-term buy off the low, but I really wouldn't try and overstay my welcome there with GJ. Conditions aren't great. UJ looks a lot better. And the fact that I'm bullish in USD is a very nice confluence for the trade as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with dollar yen. Where was I? J, euro pound. Okay, we can take a look at that one as well. Hasn't been my favorite pair, but we can take a look, no problem. Let me know what you're looking at for euro pound as well. Because for me, based on where we're at, I'm only kind of looking to sell the pair. If we look to the left, we've got massive resistance there. As you can see, price spiked into that. Really big push down. You got another area there as well. Another strong reaction there to the downside. So to me, this is a really big level of resistance. And naturally, I'll be looking to sell at these areas. Not that we can't break through, we can do, but I'm already seeing signs of rejection. And I'm also seeing signs of us slowing down as well. We had a pretty strong bullish move, but we slowed down. We're rejecting pretty well. You know, I do think we can see some downside off the back of this. So as I drop to the 4-hour chart and kind of study the market structure, I can see higher highs and higher lows. And then I can see price make a lower low there as well. And now I'm looking for price to smash into this area for a lower high to form. And I think that looks like a great place for a short, provided there's some healthy rejection there as well. So going forward with euro pound, we've got the break of structure. We also did it pretty impulsively as well. We had this kind of really corrective rally. Then suddenly price has a really aggressive drop there. That tells us that, okay, this move here is a bit of a kind of fake out a little bit. Maybe an anticlimactic move. It looks like the characteristic of a top of the trend as well, I might add. So yeah, now I'm looking at a resistance, really nice level running through the market, 0.869. I believe if you can test that well, reject it well, that would be a smart place to short, a smart place to put stops. If you want to be aggressive, or maybe aggressive not the right word, if you want to be relaxed with your stop losses, you could probably even put it above the high there. That's if you want to be really relaxed and maybe you have a bit more of a swing bias. But of course, it could skew your risk reward up. I would probably have my stop loss just above the highs here. A bit tighter, yes, high risk of getting stopped out. But if I can catch the high well, even a push back to here, I could be walking away with a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 maybe. So I can probably just call it a day there at that low. So yeah, I quite like what I'm seeing here for euro pound. And I'd say, again, at least a push back to the low there, but we could probably go further too. The only thing I don't like about euro pound, it does give some nice opportunities from time to time. But you can see for the most part here, it's a very flat market. Equal highs, equal lows. And for the past decade almost, since June 2016, the market's been incredibly flat. It hasn't done anything, just bouncing off lows, bouncing off highs. So you're not really looking to trend follow and follow momentum here with these conditions. They don't last too long. I wouldn't keep looking for momentum and keep trying to follow momentum. especially when a trend's been performing for quite a while as well. You want to be careful and lock in gains early. And if you see signs of reversal, get out the position. It probably is going to reverse. Okay, where was I? No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Marcus, what's up? What's up? Hope you're well. Which top confirmations you use for trade entries? Good question. Well, trade entries, I keep it relatively simple. I don't try to overcomplicate my entries because all I want my entry confirmations to do is to support the idea I have with my analysis. So analysis is basically where do I expect the market to go and where from as well. So I expect the market to go up and I expect the market to go up from here. So that's the analysis part. So that's, in my eyes, where all the hard work is. The entry part is just to say that, okay, price has got to that area which you said you want price to go up from, and it's showing signs that it's about to go up. And for me, I just use candlestick patterns to justify that. I like wicks. So if I do see a lot of wicks into my levels, that's a really strong sign. Sometimes I just enter off wicks alone, but majority of the time I will wait for wicks accompanied with like a shift of momentum. So like a strong candle, like a bullish engulfing candle, even a pin bar, morning star, those type of patterns to back up my entry. But I keep it relatively simple, just looking for rejection and momentum. So rejection in the form of wicks, momentum in the form of the candlestick closure. And that for me will justify an entry. But the thing is, you could take those entries and use them anywhere. But the reason why they do work well is because of the analysis supporting it. It's not just because, okay, there's a few wicks here and there's a bearish engulfing candle, let me short this. It's all the things that come before that. So the analysis in terms of direction, why are you expecting the market to move down? Why specifically from that area as well? What confidences are there? What are the higher time frames saying? What's supporting that idea for the market to go down? And then the entry confirmation is just the cherry on the top. Just say, okay, yeah, price is likely to go down. And at the same point, if there was no rejection there, if there was no confirmation, I wouldn't take the trade because I don't have that kind of yes, okay, now it's likely to go down. So I try to keep entries simple, just focus on the candlestick patterns. And bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing is my most common. Yusuf, is Euro Pound V-shaped pattern? Yes, correct. Good spot. Quick learner, Yusuf, quick learner. That is definitely a V-shaped. Well, so actually, technically, it's an inverse V-shaped pattern because V-shaped patterns, of course, resemble a V. Yeah, it's an upside down V. But yeah, correct. You can call it a V-shaped pattern still. If you want to be a bit more specific, you call it inverse V-shaped pattern. But yeah, it's a V-shaped pattern. And again, the characteristics of a V-shaped pattern is an impulse one way followed by an impulse the other way pretty quickly afterwards. And that's exactly what you got here. A nice V-shape up, momentum down just as quick, even quicker as well. And then, of course, you got a breaker structure as well, which is the cherry on top. And then, yeah, you're expecting a lower high here to form and more downside. So this, to me, has the characteristics of a top. When I see V-shaped patterns or inverse V-shaped patterns, I'm looking them to be tops and bottoms of trends. They don't necessarily indicate that the trend's gonna, go on for an eternity. Like, okay, I'm expecting this to happen. It could just be a top where we form a lower high, potentially just once, and then we do continue as well. So it was a top, temporarily before we do put a bottom in. So don't necessarily you just expect a complete reversal. But when you do see characteristics like this, you know that we can probably see some type of counter trend move now. But yeah, 100% good spot there. Good spot, Yusuf. This is like this is a poor version of a V-shaped pattern because it was very corrective. So I wouldn't even count this. It's a nice impulse back up again. Let's see if we can find another V-shaped pattern. I mean, this would technically be one. That would technically be one, because this is an impulse up, impulse down. Of course, it eventually did form a nice top to a trend. Probably not the most clear cut, but I would say it does fit the mold. This would be a V-shaped pattern as well. Not the best one, but impulse down, impulse up. It's not as aggressive. Again, the better V-shaped patterns are the more aggressive ones. If you see price really aggressive on the way down and really aggressive on the way up, that's the best example. The more aggressive the momentum, the better, as with pretty much everything, to be honest. This isn't that aggressive, but it does just about fit the mold. Eventually had a very deep correction to actually retest the low, but eventually the market did reverse off the back of that. Let's find one more. Again, this is technically one, but I wouldn't buy into that because it didn't really come after a trend. I would only take V-shaped patterns after trends, or inverse V-shaped patterns after trends. In this case, you do have a strong impulse up, strong impulse down. Eventually the market did reverse after that, but I don't really buy into that because there was no like established trend in the way up. So I'm not too sure I'll read into that. Let's find one more. Again, same with this one. Nice impulse up, impulse down, correction, continuation, but there's no established trend. So I wouldn't buy into that. That's an okay one. I wouldn't say it's the best one. Nice rally up, pretty strong move down. You did get a nice correction, a continuation. So yeah, I would say that's one as well. Not the best one. But again, that's the reality of chart patterns. Not every chart pattern is going to look the same. You're going to get variations of the same pattern, and you're going to get examples where the pattern looks really, really good, undeniably good, and you get some examples where the pattern looks yeah, as you get flag patterns, double tops, double bottoms, you name it. Pascal, good morning, hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. I'm looking at Euro yen, Swiss yen for a sell on is that the hour time frame? Okay, we can take a look at that. Yeah, we have seen some downside this morning for the yen pairs. I'll go take a look at them because that's an interesting idea. Yeah, I'll go through some of the ideas on Euro yen and Swiss. Yusuf, do you enter trades on your analysis time frame? Well, my analysis time frame is normally like the daily, so no, not really, no. I enter on the 4-hour chart. But I do a lot of my analysis on the 4-hour as well, but my daily is kind of like my governing time frame, and then I drop to the 4-hour to kind of refine things and look for entries. So, yeah, no. Cease integrated, what's up, hope you're well. Close all my sell positions, okay. Close my other sell positions for, okay, Euro, Pound, Aussie, okay. And just leaving top sell positions running still. Nice, looking good. Yeah, I think you're well positioned here. I'm not gonna lie, cease integrated, because I think USD means business now. I think even if we do get a bearish dollar after NFP, I still view that as likely a pullback for us to keep going higher. So, did you mention your targets yesterday for those positions you're leaving running, or was it just like your trading stops and you're just going to see how far they can go, or do you have like a specific target for them? Anyway, in the meantime, I'll go through the yen pairs, those I did for Pascal. I don't think I've missed out a pair. No, I don't think so. Okay, so Euro yen, Swiss yen sell. Swiss yen's an interesting one because, of course, that's just been as bullish as ever. So that one is definitely due some downside. It's interesting because we had a consolidation. We broke out the consolidation and we broke back in the consolidation. So this is Swiss yen on the daily chart. So you can see the consolidation we had. Of course, the prior high dates back all the way to here, July 2024. Just gone a month, actually. Time flies. That was 10th of July. Ready in August 2025. So yeah, we had that consolidation. We did break to the downside. Then I said simply, if price can remain below the consolidation, so we had the breakout, if price can remain below, simply looking for the retest for some shorts. If we break back in the consolidation, then we're looking for a push to the upper end of the range, which is exactly what price did. We broke inside, we kept going, and we did all of that within one candle. But we've hit the highs, and now we've rejected the highs as well. But we are still live. This candle's still rolling. We've got NFP in a couple of hours time, and is it a couple of hours? Yeah, a couple of hours time, and we've got this support level for all these wicks. So I would be quite cautious about the shorts, because we can still very much bounce off this area and pull back and leave a bit of a wick on the daily chart. So if I drop to the hourly, I'll kind of move this out of the way. If I drop to the hourly and kind of maybe draw this a little bit better, yeah, this to me is kind of where all the support is lying. So although, yes, I like the idea of shorting the Swiss yen, I think we're quite overextended and we're due a push down. I think I would wait for price to kind of give us a big breakout and then look for pullbacks after that, and then try and short something like this or lower high somewhere else. Because this is where all the support is, and we're back there again. And who knows, maybe price does something like this. I would still argue that the yen pairs are still pretty bullish as a whole. Swiss yen is still pretty bullish as a whole, so I would be quite cautious of that. But if we do crack through, then that's the green light for the shorts, especially if you can get a retest. That'll be the next lower high, and then on our way we go. So yeah, Swiss yen shorts I like, but not quite ready yet, especially where we're trading. This is coming back into pretty significant support here. Even though I kind of expect us to break through, I wouldn't want to take that outright in the case that we don't, and you kind of look like a bit like a melon then. So yeah, if we can break through, sure. I think the first major target would of course be back here, but I think we can go a lot further than that based on how stretched the market is. This here's the prior all-time high. Even that could be potentially a target. I probably wouldn't target outright, but keep that in mind, we could get there. In terms of euro yen, this came from a similar situation as well, bit of a consolidation a little bit. So you got the consolidation here, you got the kind of the fake out to the upside, I'm saying. Nice rally to the upside, kind of your fake momentum. Then you get the lovely flush to the downside, breaking through structure, taking up the lows here. So to me, this could look like a retest for us to continue lower. So I would say euro yen looks a lot cleaner, and the shorts make a bit more sense there. Of course, we had some really aggressive momentum on the way up here, and we're kind of just slowing down. So I would suggest maybe a nice double top for euro yen. That could end up being a very nice entry, and that could be a wonderful trade there. Stops above the high, and targeting this area outright. In this case, you kind of got the fake out. Ooh, completely missed it. You got the fake out, you got the break to the downside, break of structure. Now you're banking the lower high here, and a healthy pullback probably into the 0.618. Yeah, into the 0.618. So I quite like what I'm seeing with euro yen. Makes sense. Breakout makes sense. Momentum in the market. I'll probably just wait for that entry to improve a little bit. But yeah, shorts, I do agree, especially if you're looking to drop to the hourly for a short. I think if you can get a push into this area, you're looking pretty good. And we'll see how far we can take that. There is the possible retest back here, but I wouldn't push my luck. Still looking for a bit more upside into the high there, 175. So I'm still long-term bullish, and I'm still looking to buy euro yen. But for now, I am looking at a bit of a correction before we do go on our way again. So hopefully that made sense for euro yen and Swiss yen. I like the sells though there, especially for euro yen. I think a nice double top there. I might be looking for some entries. Swiss needs some work, but I think that's the most overextended one. So that's probably the one that needs the correction the most. So I think eventually the Swiss shorts might actually look even better, but maybe sometime next week. Where was I? No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Okay, ceasing rated, no target makes sense. Just waiting for DXY to go lower so I can add position to sell. Fair enough. Yeah, in the same boat then. Dollar yen. Okay, we can take a look at dollar yen. No problem. DXY is not done yet. I agree. I think we got more strength for the USD. Cease integrate. What are you expecting for NFP? Do you have any plans for NFP? What are you expecting? Strength, weakness, or are you looking for anything for NFP? Okay, NFP will set the trend. I mean, I would say the trend's kind of already set, to be honest. But of course, it could set a new trend too. But yeah, in my eyes, it looks like the trend's already set to the upside. So I'm just looking for hopefully some weakness off the back of NFP, and then I'm looking to buy it. Unless NFP does something absolutely crazy. Okay, so dollar yen I'll go through next. No problem, Pascal. Happy to help. Yeah, that's true, Poppy. NFP is a throw of the dice. I mean, I'm not in any position, so I'm completely relaxed going to NFP. I don't have any skin in the game, so I don't really care. Actually, no, I do care. I want to see some downsides so I can get some pullbacks. But of course, from a trading purpose, NFP can have fun. But I'm sure you guys are in trade, so let's not get anything too crazy. Anyway, so what was I gonna go through next? Dollar yen. So dollar yen, I actually quite like this one from an intraday standpoint. I think if you're looking at maybe like an hourly chart, maybe even a bit below an hourly, a 30-minute chart, I think there's some nice opportunities here with dollar yen. I'm pretty bullish on this one. I think we're due a bit of a pullback. Looking for USD to still be strong, so that should help dollar yen still see higher prices. If I expand to the daily chart, I'm looking for a push back into resistance along the lines of this level, which is around the 151 area. We're pretty much at the level, but we've still got a bit more juice to squeeze before I would say we're officially there. And it would be nice if we can get a pullback in the meantime before we do go and hit that level. So basically with dollar yen, the way I see it, price has been in a long-term consolidation, which we finally have broken to the upside. And now I'm simply just looking for price to pull back and continue this momentum, because of course the breakouts happen, expecting momentum to pick up. And if this breakout does mean business, I think there's a lot more upside to be had. We can probably look at the width of this range here, roughly, and you can kind of clone that and take that to the upside. That's probably a similar target of where we could be looking for price to get to. And again, I wouldn't say that's gospel as in terms of we have to get there, but we could get somewhere near there. So it's just nice to know that we still got room to the upside for dollar yen. And yeah, we got a really healthy level. We got the retest of the high here. You got that area of demand, which we spent a few hours in before having a pretty healthy breakout. I would suggest if we can pull back and retest that area, you're looking pretty good for a buy. So yeah, dollar yen looking pretty bullish, and especially if you're looking at pullbacks like an hourly chart. Okay, hope NFP pulls back DXY and then add, but yeah, I'm in that same situation. I'm very much locked into the dollar buys right now, unless something changes. And of course, I'll let you guys know if my opinion changes. But right now, dollar looks pretty set to me to the upside. If I have a quick look at the DXY. Yeah, because even like the daily and the weekly look set. You know, we're about to get a pretty strong close. Of course, that could change, so I'm not going to write that in stone just yet, because that could look a little bit different. But even if we do pull back a little bit there for this current weekly candle, the way I see it, we've been extremely corrective on the way down. Oh, shouldn't have done that. We've been extremely corrective on the way down. And now we're getting a clear shift of momentum outside of this. So if price was to pull back, anywhere around here, that to me is a great place for a buy. We might not see price absolutely, fly to the upside. We've got resistance around here. I think 101 could be a very pivotal level for the dollar. I think that could even send us back down again. But the way I see it, we've had a big sell-off. We've become quite corrective. Momentum's died. We've shifted very aggressively to the upside now. Pull back some more upside. And NFP, looking quite bearish, wouldn't change that. So, yeah, I'm very much just looking for pullbacks and buys now. Okay, we can take a look at pound USD next. It's easier if you claim as your personal bias as bullish for the DXY. What do you mean by that, cease integrated? What do you mean, like instead of just saying bullish, just say my personal bias is bullish? Okay, I'll take a look at pound USD. If I've missed out a pair, let me know. Yeah, pound USD looking pretty bearish right now. I do think there's more downside to be had with this one, but again, it's the big if. I need a pullback. I've been saying this with all the USD pairs pretty much this week. Lovely momentum we've seen. Dollar CHF, pound, euro, Aussie. Lovely momentum, but I'm looking for that kind of bigger pullback on a 4-hour chart before continuing to sell. You got lovely support over here. That would be nice for a retest, really. I think we can see some more downside for August, so fresh month. I think more downside is yet to come. Might not see anything crazy in particular, but I think we are still due more downside. So in terms of an opportunity, this is really where I'm at. Looking for the break-me test of the low there, just shy of 1.34. I think that would be a great place for a short. Lines up pretty well with the 50, 0.618 in and around that area anyway. I think that would be a smart place for a pullback and looking for some opportunities. And then, yeah, back into the prior low, wherever that's forming, and we'll go from there. But yeah, pound USD looks really bearish to me. And again, another USD pair, banking on strength on the dollar. It's just about waiting for a pullback really now. So I'm going to have to be patient from that aspect. Yeah, euro, exact same thing as well. I want to take a quick look at some of the crosses. Yeah, crosses have been flat. Poppy, you still trading euro Aussie? Or was it euro NZD? I think you corrected and said euro Aussie. Are you still in a buy for euro Aussie, or you've closed that position? It's been a little bit flat, but I think there's still room to the upside for you, to be honest, if you're still in the position. I did mention this area as a nice place for a short, and I'm pretty sure your target was not too far away from that. And I quite like the lower highs, which price is doing. 1, 2. I can see a third one forming. Yeah, so I quite like the sells there for euro Aussie. It's more of like a short-term trade. I'm not looking for a big swing. I have been talking about a push all the way down here, but I'll keep it short and sweet because we are quite flat here. It's not like we're trending well, so I'm not going to try and push this trade too far. But I quite like the shorts there for euro Aussie. Euro NZD, not too sure about the price action for this one. I know it's a very similar pair to euro Aussie, but I don't think it looks as good. I mean, there is a high over here, but much prefer the price action on euro Aussie. But they do the same thing, so if euro Aussie does give us a reaction, probably euro NZD does as well. So I could keep a close eye on that. Pound Aussie and pound NZD, I've been looking to sell these guys for a while. Pound Aussie, still very bearish on this one, looking for us to break lower. I think price is slowly getting ready for that, but we do have to stay patient. This is still a very significant level of support on the daily chart, which once it does clear, then I've got the green light to be looking to sell. At the moment, we're still using it as support, and we could still see a lot of upside from that. So I've got to be quite careful here, but if we can clear it, I'm looking to short. Got some big levels below us, which I'm expecting price to tick off. And we can start to discuss some targets down there. But for now, yeah, need price to actually clear support first and then retest. Where was I? Okay, yeah, still in. Nice. I should have pulled it resistance. Yeah, I mean, it's stuck at resistance now, but I feel like it's probably you're gonna hold it for NFP. I feel like that's probably what price is waiting for, to be honest. It's probably waiting for a bit of a news catalyst to actually get the ball rolling, to be honest, because of how flat it is. But I quite like the entry, to be honest. I quite like the location of everything. You're right, the lows here kind of spiked lower. That would have flushed out some early traders there. Then we had the recovery of it. So I quite like what price is doing. I think there is still a bit of a push higher to be had with Euro Aussie. So I like the trade. You're probably going to be holding for NFP. Again, nothing necessarily wrong with that, especially if you manage risk. I hold trades for NFP as well. So there's nothing wrong with that, especially if you have a slightly wider stop loss, which I think you probably would do for this trade anyway. Maybe your stop's underneath here somewhere, or theoretical stop's underneath there somewhere. So you've got room to play with. Nothing wrong necessarily holding for NFP as long as you manage risk, really. So yeah, I still like the idea, but again, if you want to close early due to NFP, makes sense as well. Is probably waiting for something like that to get the ball rolling. And of course, it could be rolling against you too, so it's not guaranteed. But I like the idea, I like the analysis behind it as well. I like the location of the trade. You know, I do prefer a move to the upside, and I'm looking for a move to the upside anyway, because I'm looking for shorts up here. So I'm kind of banking on that happening anyway, so I can short it at a later date. But yeah, definitely a lot of resistance is formed there. So it's probably waiting for some news to get the ball rolling. Jay, didn't you just ask for Euro pound? I can quickly go through it again, but I'm pretty sure you just asked for it. Yusuf, help me understand your thoughts on oil yesterday. I was rewatching the stream and I noticed you pointed resistance level on the weekly, which made it drop, but on 4 hour is a buy. Is it counter trend? Okay, I'll go take a look at oil because I'm not too sure if I understand your question. Okay, no worries, cease integrated. I should have pulled at the, okay, I was watching it, I didn't know. Yeah, we do have NFP around the corner, Poppy. I would keep an eye on that one. I got a really good entry, but the exit is more important. True, yeah, I mean, they're both as equally as important as each other. But yeah, exit is definitely very important and not spoken about near enough as entries. Always, people always asking how do I enter? What's the best way to enter? No one asked me how do I exit. It's a very rare question on the stream. How do you exit trades? It's always entries. Which again, entries are important. Not saying you shouldn't ask that question, but should be asking how to exit just as much. To be honest. And some people say exits are more important as well, and I see why, but I think they just go hand in hand, really. Anyway, let's take a look at oil, Yusuf. I'm not too sure if I understand your question. I'm going to read it again. Hopefully third time's a charm. Help me understand your thoughts on oil yesterday. I was reading the stream and there's the weekly, which made it drop. But on the 4 hour is a buy. Is it counter trend? Well, if I mention resistance on the weekly chart, I was probably talking about this area. Correct me if I'm wrong as well, because I can imagine you remember the situation. But this is kind of how I've been marking up the chart recently on oil. So highlighting this area here as support. Been talking a lot about buys from this area. And then I've talked about here as resistance to target, because if price is going to respect this weekly zone, then I am expecting a push back into the highs over there eventually. So that's the plan there from a weekly standpoint. On the 4 hour chart, we had a significant bounce there. We created new highs here. I said yesterday we're looking for some pullbacks into this area, because that's the most logical place for a pullback now before continuation. So basically looking for a higher low, and then back to some areas there, but that's the big target there for oil. So that's really the analysis I'm looking at. In terms of counter trend and pro trend, I wouldn't say there's really much of a trend really on oil. This is the weekly chart. If I zoom out, I'd say you could argue there's a slight bearish trend on oil, because we're making lower lows and lower highs. But you could also argue that we're just quite flat, and this is just a big range. And you can probably just mark this as a bit of a fake out here. Besides from that, we're being incredibly flat. So you could say we're kind of sideways. You can say we're in a slight downtrend. I would agree with both judgments, to be fair. So I wouldn't say there's much of a trend to follow. And again, if I drop into the lower time frames, there's not much there either. There's some trends within trends here, but right now I wouldn't say there's much of a trend here either. I'd still say we're incredibly quite flat here. But I did see a nice swing here with a lot of momentum, creating new highs. So we're looking for a high low of that for more upside. That's kind of what I can see from oil's perspective, looking at the higher time frames dropping to the lower. So that's really what I was talking about yesterday. I'm not too sure which level you're talking about, whether it's this level or that level. I'm pretty sure that's the only two levels I did map out. I might have talked about this high here, but I said that I want to see a much bigger breakout before I do look for the breaking retest of this level. The breakout is not quite big enough. So, those are the only two areas I've discussed with oil. So let me know if that answers your question. Do well on entries, but not happy with exits. Yeah, exits are the thing about exits, and same with entries as well. It's it's hindsight can really mess things up, really, because you could exit the trade, pretty well. You might have made a nice return on the trade, but you come back the next day and you're like, oh, if I held that till now, I could have probably doubled my profits there. So that's kind of where the exits can kind of eat at you a little bit, because again, you're not to know unless you got hindsight beforehand. You just have to exit at educated areas and for the correct reasons. You don't want to do it emotionally, and you don't want to kind of have the situation where you're kind of, I should have done this, I should have done that, because you could have done anything at any point in time. You want to have some type of system around it, so there is structure to it, but also you want to have a bit of flexibility where you can kind of be a little bit more independent for every trade, because every trade is unique, and some trades are meant to be closed early, some trades are meant to be held on. So you want to have a bit of flexibility for each trade, but at the same time, you do want to have some type of system, because that will keep you sane. If you have no system and kind of just go off your intuition or just how you feel like it, that's where you can go into a very emotional place, and you exit early, exit too late, and you start beating yourself up. So have some type of system in place, but try and make room for flexibility. That kind of gives you the best of both worlds. You got a bit of rigidness to it, So you got discipline, you got plan, you got rules to follow, but you've also got an allowance for thinking on the spot, especially if you've got a bit of experience in the market as well. You want to take advantage of that. Varus, good question. Well, how do you exit your trades? Good question. Well, at the moment, I'm kind of using a bit of a more hybrid system. I'm using targets as well as trading stops. In terms of my exits, well, actually, it's kind of like a tri-hybrid. I'm using trading stops, targets, and I'm using kind of manual exits of when I kind of think the situation is done. And that's basically a culmination of kind of all my experience, because I've used so many different ways of exiting trades. But the best way I've found to exit trades is to treat every trade individually, try and maximize the return on every trade. But especially if you trade FX like me, a lot of FX, you do want to have those kind of limits, because markets do reverse on themselves. So you don't want to just hold a trade for as long as you want. Not as long as you want. Try and like hold a trade for as long as you can, because more often than not in FX, you're going to get situations like this where you're in a trade and price eventually does that. It might go on for quite a while, but eventually it's going to come against you. So you want to have finite targets as well. But basically, how I manage my trade, let's say if I hop into a trade here, normally I'll have one level, which is like, okay, that's what I'm expecting price to get to, and that's where I'm kind of out the trade. And normally I'll have like a partial area, an area which maybe price might go against me as well. So I have an ultimate target, and I have like a partial target. Sometimes I might have two as well, but most of the time it's just one. So I'll enter a trade, and then I would trail underneath every kind of low. So that kind of protects price going against me. And then if, let's say if I'm getting a lot of rejection, a lot of wicks, and it looks like price is really struggling at an area, it's about to turn around, I have permission to just exit the trade early. Before, I would just kind of let price do its thing and let it either chill me out or eventually hit my targets. But once you start to see, signs of really kind of the market really struggling, it's best just to call it a day, most of the time anyway. So, basically the plan with the trade is to get it to here. And I have two methods to try and protect myself. One's the trading stops, and one is kind of the partial targets along the way. So as price goes for me like this, let's say if things do turn around, well, I'll be out at the trading stop. Let's say if price does something like this. So because every trade is unique, sometimes you won't get such a nice trading stop loss. Sometimes you might get some structure here, so you trail, then you don't get much structure, you get a big explosion. So I'm locked, I've got my stop loss locked in here, but let's say price starts going against me. Well, here I've already banked in some partials, so I've already paid myself a little bit. Then let's say we start to pick up to the downside, I'm starting to see momentum shift. I can just close the trade here without waiting for it to come all the way to my stop loss. It's a little bit complicated, but it's not really. It's just kind of trading a stop as you go along, but also closing trade early if things are not looking like it's going to go to your target. That's basically what it is. And in terms of targets, in terms of what I do target, it's just basically support and resistance really in the higher time frames. So at least the daily chart, I'll just look at big levels of support and resistance. But the way I do that is that I have some rules in terms of trading a stop, but I also have the flexibility to close trades early based on what price is giving me. And in terms of what I target, like I said, just support and resistance in the higher time frames. Okay, yeah, it's simply because we're above key support, Yusuf. The reason why I'm looking to buy is because we're trading above this level. If we were to break through, then yeah, I'll be looking to sell. But this is a very pivotal level, so I wouldn't be looking to sell into that. But I see your point. I'm old school. I enter and exit manually. No schedule. Stop loss will take profit. Take profit. There before news, during news, after news with volatility. Could could have closed a good position due to volatility. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a billion ways to exit, as there's a billion ways to enter as well. My biggest tips is just keep some type of rule for both the entry and the exit, and then have like an additional kind of flexibility rule, which allows you to kind of hold trades a little bit longer if it warrants it, or close trade early if it warrants it as well. But I think having some type of rule or some type of vision of what you're expecting is very important, because if you just enter a trade and then hope for the best, especially if you're a beginner, you probably don't have the kind of the mental strength yet to do that, because once you see profits float up and down, you start thinking weird things. And of course, as you get more experience, you can mess around, change things up, be a little bit more free. I mean, I still recommend having some type of rigid kind of rule to keep you in line, because you don't want to get too overly confident, because that's something bad as well. But as you journal, you look back over your trades, you notice things, you can adapt as well. So as a beginner, you probably want to keep it more rigid and then become a bit more loose as you mature as a trader. But anyway, guys, we have reached the end of the stream. I do really appreciate each and every one of you tuning into another stream. I hope you have found it useful, enjoyed it, informative, educational, entertaining. Anything remotely positive, drop a like. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and of course hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. As always, we'll be live again next week from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time every weekday. So if you're free, pop in, come say hi. Yeah, a lot more content coming on the way. Of course, it's a brand new month as well, so happy August. But have a great weekend, guys. I will be uploading my analysis for the week ahead. I was away last week, so I didn't get the chance to, but we're back here. So do look out for that video. That will be on Saturday. I'll be uploading that video on Saturday, analyzing kind of what happened this week, recapping it, and then forecasting the next as well. So if you are interested, you want a bit of guidance for next week, do stay tuned for that video, which will be uploaded on Saturday. But until then, have a great day, guys, and I'll catch you all in the next stream.
Introducing Zenthryx AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zenthryx AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zenthryx. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.